this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
I don't even.
Damn good coffee and hot.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya
I hate
and
you.
flat
I
earth
hope you
insanity.
die.
Stand-up comedy?
Well,
You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with the Dog. You make me laugh.
What's going on there? Volume on the radio. I'm sorry if I'm blowing your ears out over there on the radio. Oh, I know what happened. What happened is I suck. That's what happened. That's better. I suck as an audio engineer. I suck as a host. I just suck. I think we ought to agree that we need to cut down on this stuff. I apologize for that. Well, maybe you like it loud, but I think it was probably overmodulating a bit. Good morning, folks. It is, what the hell is it? It's Friday. Are you excited? Weekend's here already? I have back to gig time already. It's like, Monday night gigs and then Friday, boom. It's a weird feeling. It's a weird feeling. And it happens every time we have one of these holiday weekends like we had last weekend. And I'm, to be quite honest, I'm not ready yet. Because I have another one of these country things on Sunday where I'm filling in for Dave, brother Dave Solomon, Dave the Brave, brother Dave and the Brave. And I've kind of committed to learning new country material for every. Come on, damn, we are hot. I am sorry about this hotness. I know I'm a hot guy, but my voice is like, I don't know, incredibly hot today. Not for you folks over there on the video side. I'm talking about people listening in their cars right now will probably just shit themselves. Whoa, who's this loud fuck? And I know you're not supposed to say fuck or shit this early in a YouTube broadcast, but fuck it. And who gives a shit? Oh, it's one of those days, is it? Yes, it is. If you were paying attention yesterday, and if you were paying attention, really get a life. Don't pay attention. The whole point of this is not to pay attention. Oh, by the way, the date is September 8th today, 2023. It's Friday, September 8th, 2023. I like to say that just so that there's a timestamp on this fucking thing. If I go back later on and say, when the fuck was that? Oh, now I know. If you were paying attention yesterday, and again, if you were, really get a life. Don't pay attention. But you probably heard me say, if you were paying attention, you definitely heard me say that September 7th, which was yesterday's date, felt like it should mean something. And then this morning it hit me because I was looking through my Facebook memories and people were asking how I was doing. Yesterday was the 8th anniversary of my stroke. I had a stroke. The details of the stroke wasn't all that traumatic. It was transient ischemic attack is what they called it, because I was out of the hospital the next day within 24 hours of being hospitalized. What happened was my wife and I were going through some shit. We were arguing again. And at the same time, my son happened to be missing in action. and the cops came to my house looking for my son and said he was missing and presumably had a gun and was going to hurt himself or other people. And that in conjunction with all the shit that was going on domestically here with you know, the stress just got to me. And found myself, well, I didn't find myself, my wife found me laying on the floor, basically in a comatose state. She called the cops, called the 911. The ambulance came to get me. They found me there, and they started shooting me up with stuff. I remember this. That's the first thing I remember is seeing a cop. I thought was a cop. It was an EMT, but he looked like a cop. And we discussed yesterday how I feel about cops. Anyway, putting a needle in my leg against my will. I was arguing because I don't like needles. And that's all I remember from the start of it. And then I'm in the ambulance, and boom, I'm in the hospital. And 24 hours later, I was feeling fine. But from that moment on, I had not smoked reefer in a long time. Long time for me. 2 years, maybe 3 years, something like that. And I was on this. When I got out of the hospital, they put me on this blood pressure medication, and so I would not have a stroke again. But this stuff made me as loopy as loopy can be, bouncing off of walls. I did not like what the medication was doing to me. And like a couple of weeks after that, I just said, what the hell with this stuff? I'm not taking this stuff, and I'm just gonna get high. It keeps me it keeps me cool. I haven't had an incident since. I think marijuana, CBD, THC, all that kind of stuff is far more effective than the stuff pharmaceutical stuff companies want to, and doctors, because they're on the payroll of pharmaceutical companies, want to ram down your throat, or my throat, not necessarily your throat. But if you ever have a transient ischemic attack, it will be your throat too. But speaking of wellness, we have a new sponsor I want to tell you about. Here you go. Green Space, Rocky Point, and is it Mount Sinai? No, Miller Place. Yeah, 2 locations here. Green Space, CBD, and health and wellness. Now, this is funny because in my day, you wanted to get some bud, you just called your guy. You didn't go to a CBD and wellness specialist. If you call there, Greenspace, greenspaceli.com, go to the website, or if you can call there, you'll get a prompt to hold for your next wellness specialist. I just want to talk to my guy. You got to, yeah, what do you got? You got bud? Yeah, all right, I'm there. That's what I'm there for. I'm there for the bud, buddy, pal. Anyway, greenspaceli.com. I hope you'll check them out. We're hoping to, drive some business for them. If you need wellness and a health and wellness specialist to help you get some bud. Now, I really like the 2 guys who own the company. Really good and easy to work with. One of the guys who works for them, I suggested to him because, as you know, I'm very environmentally conscious. This is how they package stuff. You get an eighth in a plastic jar like this, and I say, if you know me, if you know anything about me, this is like a day, maybe 2 days. In some in some situations, it might be 3 days. But one of these for every 3 days of my life, that's a lot of fucking plastic, and plastic is the devil. Plastic is what is ruining the planet. It's not the only devil, but it is the environmental devil. It's the biggest one that is causing us every way you look, and people don't get this. So I mean, no, I'm scattered here. I brought these back to the store, empties, and there's a kid working there who's not one of the partners. And I said, I don't want to see these at the fucking bottom of the ocean. We're gonna have a pile of these at the bottom of the ocean before long because this shit does not decay. And this kid, I call him a kid, probably in his 20s or something, maybe 30s, wanted to argue with me that the uh, the stuff about plastics in the ocean and landfills is overblown. If you had, and he tried to come up with like Trumpian statistics. I felt like choking the fucking kid. Now here you go, my blood pressure is rising. That if you piled up all the plastics, it wouldn't be as big as the store right now. All the plastics in the whole world, it wouldn't be as big as the store right now. I just wanted to jump over the counter and choke the fuck out of this kid. Are you fucking plastic? Plastics everywhere. Every plastic. Everywhere you look, everything you touch has plastic. Your steering wheel has plastic. Your cock is probably coated in plastic. Everything. If you go to the store to buy anything, go to a grocery store and just look at the packaging. Oh, sorry, Jordan. You're not allowed in here right now. Get out. Go to the postmodernist podcast. Everything. You go anything, and some of it is wrapped in layers of plastic. So you buy processed cheese. Now, I'm not saying buy processed. Don't buy processed. Cheese product. It ain't even cheese. It's called cheese product. But if you look at that, it's phony cheese wrapped in plastic, all stacked together and wrapped in more plastic. Anything you buy, even fruits and stuff. Plastic. Everywhere. So don't tell me that all the plastic at the bottom of the ocean could fit inside of greenspace.li.com in Rocky Boy. It just can't happen. I used to work in for a brief time as a marketing director for a company that made packaging machines that rely on plastics, or they melt their own plastics, they form their own plastics, they create more plastic packaging than you can imagine. And as a weed smoker and a green guy and working with green space, well, I want to see as little of plastic as possible. And I don't think marijuana and green people, little green men, should be just, diving into packaging like this without, recycling this stuff. And because, all right, so these are already made. So I bring them back. And now the owner is happy to take them back, the owner of Green Spaces, and happy to reuse this stuff, which is what I wanted to hear. I'm not looking for any, deposit repair and any of that kind of stuff. I just want to see less plastic at the bottom of the ocean. This is the problem with packaging everywhere. And, I'm on a big anti-plastic kick, obviously. You see that. But I'm really looking, take a moment to look around and notice. Now, back in 1966, 67, there's a movie called The Graduate. You probably are not aware of it because you're young. Dustin Hoffman, soundtrack by Simon and Garfunkel, mostly the musical soundtrack by it. I think it was directed by Mike Nichols, Day of the Dolphin, Mike Nichols. Great film, Mrs. Robinson. Are you trying to seduce me, Mrs. Robinson? But there's a point where Ben, Dustin Hoffman, he's just graduated and he doesn't know what he's going to do with his life, and his future, or what she wanted to be his future father-in-law, which never happened, says to him, one word, Ben, plastics. Plastic, Benjamin. Yeah. Good morning, Craig. Craig's in the chat room. Good morning, Craig. Craig's old enough to remember the movie. What we've done since 1960s, because plastics was not a thing until that, everything was made of cheap paper, cardboard, like, that kind of stuff. Plastic became a thing in the 50s and 60s. What we've done in that time is incredible. We talk about all the other kind of pollutions. None of it matches plastic. Look around where you are right now. How much plastic do you see? I mean, really, take a look around where you are. Plastic, 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 plastic. I'm on a plastic kick. So, particularly in the marijuana and CBD packaging field, I want to see people need to speak up about this. And really be proactive about it. I know people feel like it's inconvenient. Oh, they're doing away with plastic straws. There's a reason they're doing away with plastic straws. Plastic is up your ass. Plastic is also very toxic. When I was a kid, man, I'm rambling this morning, aren't I? It's Friday. I'm on a rambling mood. And G.D. Fenderson is sitting in the back, and I'm going to bring him in a couple minutes, see if he's got any plastic he wants to get rid of. William Conway might be joining us with the news. I don't have a guest. Well, I had a guest scheduled for today. It was Tommy Chong, and I was hopeful I have Cheech. Been rescheduled for October 6th, Friday, October 6th, and it's looking far more positive that we'll have Cheech on that program. But if you're so inclined, do what you can. Even if you're just a guy, not a wellness counselor, but a guy selling weed. We used to do it in plastic baggies. Those were bad enough. Plastic baggies were not anywhere near as bad as this stuff. Oh, look, I got a full one. I got several full ones here. Yes, I do. Don't hold that against me. Anyway, that's my anti-plastic kick. We've totally fucking ruined the planet with plastic. And plastic is highly toxic. Highly toxic. This is why if you're going to get a butt plug, make sure you get it using non-toxic materials. I'm covering all the bases with the sponsors today. We got Green Space. We got enticeme.com, where you can get non-toxic butt plugs and dildos and whatever, gags, ball gags. I am fucking on a roll here. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Well, same thing that's wrong with me every other day. Anyway, I'm just going to take am I going to take a short break? Yes, I got something. Oh, I know what I wanted to. Yeah, covering all the bases. I am fucking shot. That's what's going on. I wanted to play you this before we come back, and we'll say hello to GD. Did I even load it up, or did I? No, I don't think I did. I am a dick. I am a dick. We knew I was a dick. Let's see if I can load this up now while we're... Oh, I did load it up. I just can't read. It's right in front of my face.
Introducing Mind Dog Coffee. If you are a coffee connoisseur and want to experience the best coffee, we invite you to try Mind Dog Coffee. With a variety of roasts from all around the world, Mind Dog Coffee is premium gourmet coffee, expertly roasted and delivered to your door. From award-winning growers, we strive to provide our loyal customers with the best quality and freshness. Your favorite people are waking up to Mind Dog Coffee. Get your day started with a hot, energizing cup of vibrant, exclusive Colombian dark roast, or the ranch hands ready for work with our cowboy blend. Order now at minddogtv.com/shop.
Man who doesn't drink a lot of coffee. Good morning, GD.
How's it going?
All right. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing real good.
How much plastic are you covered in?
Right now, I'm not exactly sure. I know the hair is natural.
The hair is natural.
And the hair, but then the earbuds start, and that's plastic.
Earbuds are plastic. Yep. Everything is fucking plastic.
I do not know how much plastic's in the fabric that I have on. I do not know.
What is Craig saying? Can I find a coffee sponsor that is 9.95 for for a 2-pound bag? Oh, you want the cheap coffee? Well, I can get coffee for you, but not gourmet coffee. Listen, you have never tasted anything quite like the Whiskey Barrel Blend. You know what? Cowboy coffee was really good. It's great for a bowel movement if you need it. But the Whiskey Barrel Blend is my new thing. No, it's a little more expensive. I believe we start at like $13.95 for the cheapest gourmet coffee, $14.95 for a 1 pound bag, and then the price goes up. You can get a 12 pound bag and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt. I got thrown off by our sponsor stuff. I'm trying to sell here. If you haven't noticed, I'm selling. I'm selling weed. I'm selling butt plugs. I'm selling coffee. What do you got? You got the stuff you need me to
You
sell?
are you are the entrepreneur. You just need to sell CDs and maybe some band stuff. Maybe. Well, you don't have you have space available in your head. You could actually rent space. You could yeah.
I have done that, my friend. I'm way ahead of you. I started selling advertising space on my bald head probably 25 years ago.
Wow.
Not a lot of people want that space. You would think it would be prime space because it does get a lot of views, especially when I'm out
Yeah.
playing. But no,
Yeah.
you know what? People don't take me seriously when it comes to headspace. Anyway, it's weekend time. Are you gigging this weekend? You got gigs? You got shows? You got anything coming up?
No. I thought I was going to be doing something for Easter Seals, but there was a conflict which never got resolved, and so you don't resolve the conflict, you don't play.
Yeah. I haven't heard Easter Steels mentioned in a really long time.
That was part of the conflict. I said, Are you fucking with me?" No, no, just
Yeah.
no.
What do they do? I know they're a charity, but what is their main cause?
And well, the thing that they were promoting this time was like matching wheelchairless people with wheelchairs, matching legless people with legs. You know, basically help helping disabled people.
What would you do if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? See, whenever you say the wheelchairs thing, it brings me back to the weird moment. I was talking about this when I did 5 minutes of stand up the other day. There was a
Mhm.
nursing home gig where I wasn't prepared for. I was late getting there, and I quickly set up. And my first song I played was with a little help from my friends. The old folks like that, and
Right.
I got like I sang the first line of the song. What would you do if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out of me? And I looked around the room, and there's 50 people and half a leg. One person had half a leg, and it wasn't even a half a leg. It was just kind of like a sort of ball of a leg. Like
Now, was it a communal leg? I mean, did they share it, or was it just
no,
belong to one
it was
person?
just one guy, but and
Oh, okay. So I didn't have to share it.
right, but yeah, and he's sitting there, and the leg had a mind of it. The ball, it was like a little sausage ball, and it had a mind of its own. It was bopping to the song, and it was really fucking me up. Like I wanted to laugh, I wanted to go hide. It was a very weird kind of situation. But anytime you talk about wheelchairs and stuff like that, my mind goes right back to that moment. I'm going to probably carry that with me till the day I die. Anyway. Uh, so I was talking yesterday about, or this morning, I was talking before about having a stroke and getting off the medications that they were giving me and going back to marijuana. Are you
Right.
a weed smoker?
Yes and no. I'm not opposed to it. I just not allowed to do it in the house because the smell lingers, and
I'm not
so I
allowed to do it
may
in the house either.
so outdoors maybe. I do have some edibles. Uh, I wanted to mention something. I had a number of friends within a week. I had like three friends who had strokes within 1 week, and so each one I called and I said the same thing to them. I said, "You realize that um, life and golf or life is like golf, and that the fewer strokes, the better." And they all laughed. At least one of them I think was laughing. I couldn't tell because it sounded like this. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I've been there. But it
yeah,
didn't last long for me. I got my speech back within like probably 8 hours of the stroke, and I was fully. I played a gig that happened on a Sunday night, and I played a gig that Friday, the Friday immediately after that, and people will call me. I'll sub for you on the gig. I'm like, no, you're not taking my gig. 'Cause I know how it works. You sit out once, and you get somebody else to sub for you on a gig, and then the gig's not yours anymore. They're gone. That gig is gone. It belongs to the guy who subbed for you. So I'm paranoid about that. Oh, I'm getting back, and I played the gig, and it was fine. But yeah, but I think the pharmaceutical company. And listen, I'm not gonna. I know everybody knows pharmaceutical companies rape us. They, all that kind of stuff. But I do think marijuana. I'm not. I hate to sound like this because Tommy fucking drives me crazy with this shit because he acts like it's a fucking cure for everything. CBD, it doesn't cure everything, but in some cases, it can make up for a lot of the bullshit medicines that they give you to calm you down or keep you neutralized and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially for like PTSD. I know quite a few veterans who use CBD to treat their PTSD, and there's too many letters in there.
Yeah.
Too many letters.
Well, if you're LBGTQ and you have PTSD, you should call the CIA and get some LSD.
And that'd be a short trip to the store.
Yeah. What is William saying? You like the Chinese women that have babies in rice paddies. You all like the Chinese women who have rice. Why? Why am I like me or GD? Who's like the Chinese women that have babies in rice paddies? I'm at a loss. Maybe I need to smoke.
Oh, I got there is the thing that was talking about you having a stroke and continue working. The thing is that a Chinese woman will have a baby in a rice paddy, and then they just keep on working at the baby.
Yeah. They do it with a gun at their head, though. They don't do it just for fun or afraid that somebody's going to take their job.
Right.
Yeah.
So William Jung, though. William Jung, he doesn't know the whole story. He just knows the funny part.
Yeah. Yeah. He's been very good with the news. Very, very good with the news. I'm extremely impressed with what he's been doing with the news. So there's that. I don't know. This morning in BuzzFeed, there's a story, and I thought it might be somebody I had on the program about a woman who walked 1,000 miles alone in Europe and learned that fear is the price of freedom. True. Now, she talks about walking this trail in Europe as a single woman, but I had a guest on, and I had to look through it to see if this was the guest I had on. I've had so many guests on the Meet the Authors stuff, like 1,500 of them. And I had a woman who walked the El Camino, what is it? Camino Santiago de Compostela. It's 1,000-mile trail of pilgrimage through Europe, and she's 70 years old and she walked it. Seems to be a lot of people doing these spiritual walks, 1,000 miles or more. There are people who walk and there are two different roads. There's one that starts in Russia and goes down to South Africa that you can walk without ever, having to take a boat or a plane or anything, continuous walk or road. And there's another one that's like from Alaska down to the southern tip of South America that people walk. But it takes you through all 4 seasons, and like you have to have a backpack full of stuff. I can't imagine doing that, even at my age. Being a guy, it's very different from being a woman. But having all that kind of stuff to take with you, that backpack full of winter clothes, summer clothes, and everything in between. And then I would have to bring probably 1 billion of these to get me through. I don't know, but those pilgrimages. You got any thoughts on the pilgrimage, the spiritual pilgrimage?
Well, I'm all for self-discovery, whatever it takes, as long as it doesn't harm other people. I'm glad that they can afford to do it. With my income, I'd be like Lao Tzu. I would take the first step for each of those journeys, but I couldn't afford to take many more after that.
Right, yeah. Well, this 70-year-old woman, I think her husband died like shortly, the one that I interviewed, shortly before that. She came into whatever the insurance money was, and that was enough to pay for all right, her mortgage was probably paid off 70 years old. Maybe not always the case. But
Yeah.
so yeah, she had that
That's what I'm
financial
saying.
freedom.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And I don't think in that case, I don't think that she was doing a spiritual journey. I think she was on the lam and she didn't come back until her name was cleared. That's
Okay,
why she went. That's why
that's
she
how
went on
I
the
would
back
do it.
roads. That's
That
how
was
she just. Yeah, she disappeared on the back roads until, and once she got to the other end, of like, okay, they cleared me of my husband's death. I will return.
that would definitely be the reason I would. But I would run 1,000 miles then, not walk. I'd be running the whole time.
Well, at
Uh,
70, she had to, make do.
there are things that happen when the police. You probably know. Uh, you're a black guy. How could you not know? Um, when the police are chasing you, it's like all of a sudden you find Superman strength. I mean, I remember jumping over
Oh yeah.
fences in a single bound that I could have not have done if I was consciously in a basic calm mindset. I could have not done it in 4 or 5 bounds, and it would have taken me a minute. Cops chasing you, that fence is nothing. You leap over it. You become a super athlete.
I have never been chased for something I actually did, though.
Wow.
Yeah. So every time I've been chased, I had a gun pulled on me. Literally, it was some other black guy they were looking for, and not to and they didn't always look like me. They just happened to be in the same general vicinity,
Yeah,
like 20 miles,
yeah.
like
I
20,
would say
20
that
miles.
I've probably never been chased for something I actually did either. We used to, well, one time I was chased because we were in a woods where kids were getting high, but we didn't have any. It was me and another guy, and somebody called the cops, and the cops were coming through this woods, and we saw the cop coming, and then he ended up chasing. I'm in high school at the time. He ended up chasing her around this whole neighborhood, and this is where I'm just leaping over fences like a fucking super athlete. And then finally, we got to this fence that was like 30 feet high, and I just looked at it and said, I didn't do anything wrong. What the fuck am I running for? And the cop finally, like, he just wanted to beat the hell out of me for making him jump over all those fucking fences. But we used to play games to just try to make, you see a cop and you just run and see how far you get away from him and that kind of stuff. But yeah, for for the crimes I committed, no, I don't think I've ever been chased by a cop.
Now I remember we were teenagers once. There was myself. Now this was and a very racially diverse group. We were teenagers in high school. We were smoking some weed, and the police got wind of it. No pun intended, and they came over to arrest us. Now there were white kids and black kids, and there was one white kid who was in a wheelchair, and there was a black kid who should have been in a wheelchair, but his parents couldn't afford it, so he just limped around a lot. We called him Joe Crip. Uh, and there was this, so the police started giving us grief. I mean, well, we had the weed, you could smell it. We didn't think they were stupid. We just thought they were cops. So there was one young white girl said, I want your badge number. And me and the other two black guys looking at each other going, no, no, don't start that. No, 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 you can't do that. And she was, just before they showed up, we wanted to hide the weed. So the kid in the wheelchair goes, put the weed under my butt. They won't move me. They won't touch me. And it didn't. They didn't check the guy in the wheelchair, and all the weed was like under his thighs. We just
He's
put like
pretty tall in that wheelchair.
it's like a good quarter pound of weed underneath his ass. So they never checked him, and they took the three of us, the three black guys, they took us into custody, but not into custody. They took us into their cars, and they took us out into the woods, and we all know that we're going to die. This is it, because we're in Howard County, Maryland, which was like, if you weren't in the Klan, then you were still
Wow,
in
really?
you were still in the initiation stages, and you hadn't been accepted into the Klan yet. So if you
Wow.
weren't in the Klan, you were just in waiting. So we just knew we were dead. We're like, we're gone. But that's it. These three white cops got us. They're taking us out into the woods, and they did the worst thing they could possibly do to us. They took our shoes and left us in the woods so that we'd have to go home and explain to our parents why we didn't have shoes. That was, and my mother did not play. When my mother was finished with me, I'd rather have faced the cops. I would
Wow.
much rather have faced the cops rather than explain to my mother why those brand new Jack Purcell tennis shoes are gone from my feet.
Good morning, Willie.
Good morning.
How are you?
Have
Have you met GD Willie?
Hello.
We've like exchanged pleasantries over the text thingy in the chat room.
Yeah.
But we have not shared screen time together.
Well, he's wearing plastic headphones.
I am.
Yeah. What else?
There's definitely plastic on my shoes because they're and ones from Walmart.
Right. See that? Yeah, there's plastic everywhere. It's just the problem.
Yeah, it's a real problem. I mean, that dude definitely shouldn't act like it's not a problem. It's a definite issue. I hate the straw thing though. The fact that they're making these like biodegradable, like I literally like, yeah, it's biodegradable, all right. I feel I can taste it like decomposing as I'm using the fucking thing. Fucking give me a plastic straw, please. I don't give a shit about the turtle. Like, jeez.
All right. You know what? All of it is not convenient. The stuff that they used to give you plastic bags at the grocery stores, now they don't, and all that stuff. I get it. But at some point, we have to stop dumping fucking plastic.
Yeah, no, I mean, but like, to me, there's definitely some uses out there that, you know what I mean? But like, and grocery bags are a really, really good example. I really like reusable grocery bags and stuff like that. Because there is a lot of waste, you know.
Fucking A.
But people that act like it's not really an issue, just that really dumbfounds me.
And if you care at all, they call you like an environmental radical, a radical environmentalist. You know what?
Right.
Even if because I'm getting a lot of comments right now on YouTube, and the flat Earth people are back, and that's all right. You can let the dog bark freely. Flat Earth people are back harassing me again, and the fucking right-wing crazy people that think that if you have any kind of things that you agree with the left on, that you must be a radical. Those people are back, and on global warming, I'm getting people who are arguing me that, and there is no argument for this. That it's not a thing. Even if you buy their premise of cyclical, weather climate patterns throughout 10,000 years, 20,000 years histories, you still acknowledge that it's a real thing. It's happening. The Ice Age happened. You can't say, well, you can say, well, mankind didn't cause that, but you can't say it didn't happen. So even if you buy this whole cyclical thing, it's happening. So to not deny that there's any global warming or any of that stuff, but this kid with his argument about, all the plastics in the bottom of the ocean could fit into this store. Like, get the fuck out. I want to jump over the fucking counter and choke him and say, wake up, you fucking idiot. There's more plastic in this store right now than can fit in this store. Anyway, so I'm a radical environmentalist. All I care about is just, not having so much fucking toxic fucking plastic everywhere, because eventually it does get into who we are. We are becoming plastic.
Well, it would be great if, like, places like the dispensary or whatever that you're talking about, if they had some sort of incentive program to bring some of that shit back, and so that they could reuse it, you know what I mean? Like, that'd be great.
That's what I'm here.
And it doesn't have to be a lot, I don't think.
Yeah, not just them. I think everybody who is, but you can if you're going to hire these fucking Trumpian type of kids running you to run your store. But I think everybody in the green business should embrace green mentality.
But the odd thing is that before plastic, when we were using glass bottles, that's everybody took the glass bottles back. I mean, and as a matter of fact, I think with all the trash in our streets back then, the one thing you did not have was glass bottles in the streets because we were looking for those and we took them to the store.
Right.
That was like our income when we were kids.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember growing up in Iowa, we collected cans, we collected bottles because those were nickels, man. Like,
my wife brings bottles back to the store, and so she has made me do it too. And I would say it can be a hack going there with a fucking with hefty bags full of bottles and putting them in one at a time and all that kind of stuff. And then you get your little coupon, you present that at the checkout, and they give you your cash back. It could be a hack, but it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. And I know, I know about the inconvenience. People act like, again, radical environmentalists. No, I just believe that you don't shit in your kitchen. You don't shit where you eat. And why is that such a hard fucking concept to fucking sell to people who are they just interested in corporate profits? We need, it kills jobs. Well, it doesn't really kill jobs being an environmentalist.
With the rise in popularity of ass eating, that phrase has really fallen out of favor.
Yeah.
The don't shit where you eat kind of thing. There's a lot of people eating where they are, eating where they shit.
I know. Well, I had that argument with the kid on Twitter because I said, oh no, it was Joe Walters on this show. He said I was on the ass eating stuff and how I'm not, my generation were not big ass eaters. It wasn't really on the menu. You had to order it special from China or Canada.
Right, yeah. It came from somewhere else.
Right.
Yeah.
But he said, would you eat, you know who Margot Robbie is? I said, yeah. He said, would you eat her ass? I said, no.
Absolutely.
He said, you're out of your fucking mind.
Absolutely.
Well, all right, here's my pushback on that. If she shit on a plate, would you eat it?
I mean, no, not straight shit. Why would I do that? That's different, Matt. No, it's not. It's not the same. I love you, bro, but it's not even close to the same.
Tell that to Mark.
However, the chances for parasites still exist. So be wary.
Fecal matter is in there. Always.
Yes.
And Norman had.
But listen, there's fecal matter fucking everywhere because we could just go back to the whole thing of nobody fucking washes their hands ever. You know what I mean?
There's no fecal matter in whiskey barrel blend Mind Dog coffee.
Right.
Mark Norman had a special where and I don't know if it was a special, but he got something online where his head is this fucking big. And I was like, what's with that? And somebody explained to me, I think it was Robert Taylor who explained to me. He talks about that it got a infection from or a reaction to eating ass. It was fecal matter that made his head. Don't eat ass. What does that say? It's a black thing.
Not a black thing. Sorry. Sorry.
Well, then, where do I
sign
up to be a black man then? Because I want out.
That's some real white people shit.
I'm just saying because y'all were having this conversation and I had nothing to contribute. But I didn't want to feel like, so I just wanted to let people know that I wasn't mute, I wasn't frozen, and that I am still moving. I just didn't want to know. I'm just not in the conversation.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great.
Well, let me just say that you're not our only black comedian, and I have.
Well, I'm sorry. Also, Uncle Walt does not count as a comedian. I'm sorry. I'm just.
Oh, you heard him because Walt was.
I know him. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Walt was definitely trying to convince me that eating pussy it's just an inch away, and you're gonna go there anyway, and eating ass is a thing. And so, but not even Walt. There were I think. Paul P. also is an ass eater, and he's a black guy. I think it's a youth thing.
No. They okay, yeah. It's just I'm gonna put and not an old black thing. Then I will fix my sign.
I mean, I do want to just make a point of clarification here. Okay, and I know that it's not going to make a difference for some people, but ass eating can be very pleasurable, but it's not like, listen, it's not something I'm doing as soon as my wife walks in the door from an 8-hour shift. You know what I mean? Like fucking.
Of course not. You've got a dog at home with
Generally,
you all
there's a
day.
cleanliness standard that you're looking for before you begin such activity.
No, if I mean at gunpoint, if they said you got to eat ass today, I would say, well, she's got to have an enema first, and then a long bubble bath, and then probably a bleaching of the sphincter, all that kind of stuff. I mean,
right.
With the gun at my head, can I at least get some accommodations here on the
Right,
flavor of
right,
ass that
right.
I eat?
The flavor. Yeah.
But now, because I've had more black female comedians on, and they have not mentioned ass, but most of the white female comedians have jokes about ass eating in their set. I should ask some of the black ladies if that's a thing with them, because GD's got me thinking: is it a racial thing? Is it? I don't know.
Those white girls are probably using their privilege to make sure that their asses get eaten. Is probably what's happening.
I have my theory is like this, because I run into I've worked with literally thousands of comedians. I'm of the opinion that most of them have never come within 100 feet of an ass, let alone eaten one. But that's the topic. But that is the topic that they can talk about that can get them some laughs, so they talk about it. You know, so I'm sorry, half those guys those haven't come within 1,000 foot of an ass.
Right. Well,
I mean, I don't know. Being willing to do such things does sometimes heighten your value in the market. I mean, it can.
I'd rather be.
But you still have to get past the personality, okay? I'm sorry. You have to get past the personality. I'm sorry. It's not. It's totally different.
Well, listen. You are what you eat. What do you expect? I mean.
Well, there's the always thing. If somebody just ate your ass, are you going to kiss them?
Oh, bro. I mean, you know, this goes back to the like, did I ever tell you about the first time a girl went ass to mouth?
You did.
Yeah. And like, no, I did not, like, until I knew that chick brushed her teeth again, we did not kiss.
Brush your teeth? I would knock the teeth out and get new ones.
Well, I mean, she was, come on now. We here at Mind Dog do not promote domestic violence.
No, not domestic violence. I would have them surgically removed. Okay.
Oh, but surgically, yeah. Okay,
whatever. I'd have a whole new mouth put on.
Right. I would kiss her.
My ass. Do you know how my ass stinks?
Right. I would kiss her, but she had to gargle using the bidet first. That's what we did.
She would have to actually, go to a nuclear power plant and suck down a bunch of, whatever nuclear wastewater to clear out.
When I go out, jogging.
I think that's gone a little bit too far, Matt. I honestly believe that you could just take her down to Lowe's or Home Depot, rent a power washer with some disinfectant from aisle 12, and that'll do it, I think. But of course, I'm still not partaking in that particular endeavor.
I agree. Young people ruin fucking everything. They do. Yeah. If it weren't, sex was fucking a beautiful thing until they had to go there. What?
You just said the most curmudgeon-y old man thing ever. Young people ruin everything.
They do. They ruin sex. Listen, you had this fucking great thing that was going on for 100,000 years or however long we've been here, 14 million years, whatever the fuck it is.
Oh.
And then you ruin that by fucking adding ass to the menu.
And the thing is, it wouldn't even be so bad if they added ass to. I don't care. The thing is, they make everything a fucking challenge now. So, and that's to me is the drawing the line. Everything is a challenge, and so even stupid people feel like even if they don't want to do something, they feel like, well, it's a challenge now. I have to eat the Tide Pod. It's a challenge. I have to eat the ass. It's a challenge, and so
that's true.
I mean,
that's how they ruin it.
that's kind of what happened with me for pegging, because like I wanted to put, there was a girl I was seeing and I was like, hey, I want to put it in your butt, and she was like, you can if I can, and I was like, what do you think, I'm nervous? Like
what? Hey, I've been to prison. Wait, was her name Peggy?
No, her name was not Peggy, but that would be cool to get pegged by a Peggy. I would love to get pegged by a Peggy. That'd be great. Even if she was just dressed like Peggy, that'd be fine.
Her name was Charles and she was still transitioning.
See, now this brings a whole new, because I know a Peggy. It brings a whole new meaning to that name. And when introduced as Peggy, what do you mean, Peggy? Kind of like that Richard Pryor. I think it was I don't forget one of his earlier movies where he got raped with a dildo in his ass, and then he was in a hotel room and the girl had an electric toothbrush, and he went, "Well, what the fuck is that?"
That's got to be one of the like hear no evil, see no evil movies.
It was before that. It was
before that even.
Yeah, it was one of his very first movies. I forget which one.
Oh.
Yeah, it was one of those ones that weren't really popular. We saw it at the drive-in, which is fucking weird back in the day. I don't even know if young people appreciate the drive-in, because the drive-in was a really cool teenage experience. Everybody snuck in, or you'd have a guy who had a car and people would be in the trunk of the car, or the guy would just drive in and then everybody else would hop the fence and then sit on the roof of their car. That was a great experience then. But we saw lots of movies. A lot of kung fu movies, Richard Pryor. That's how we got all the blaxploitation movies of that era of the 70s. That's how we learned about them, because we weren't going to, especially if you were a white kid, you weren't going to a black neighborhood and going
to my neck of the woods. Yeah. You weren't coming to my neck of the woods to watch One Potato, Two Potato, or
not indoors, because they would yell at the screen and you couldn't hear the fucking movie anyway. They always be fucking yelling the whole time. Like, wait, is this a movie theater or a debate? So we learned about all those movies at the drive-in.
It's funny. My wife is white. She grew up in Maine, and so she hadn't. I don't think she'd ever been to a movie with more than one black person at a time. And so once I think the first one to go to a movie together, and it was like 95% black. And she starts going, oh my God, this is a real thing. They're yelling at the screen. Don't go in there. Oh Lord. This is real.
So you didn't tell her stop looking around? Yes, quit making a thing about it.
Nah, because I wanted them to shut up, and nothing makes it's like a standoff between the white woman turning around saying, "Would you be quiet?" and the black person going, "I'll talk if I want to." It was like a social experiment. Who's going to win out? Will my wife stares and she won over our section, but she couldn't win over the whole theater. But I think if the whole theater could have seen her eyes, we'd have had a quiet theater.
The visual pocket knew. Like the people that could see the look, shut the fuck up. No, I get it. My wife has that same fucking look. Like, it's the force. she's using the force in that moment, like, because she's not saying anything. She's just like telepathically letting me know what the fuck is up. You know what? I hate that shit. I hate it when my wife does that to me.
So now my wife has like a superpower, because not only does she has the innate caring ability, which she inherited, but she also has, from being around my family, inherited the stink eye and the neck roll. So my wife is not to be trifled with at all.
Right? She's got rolled in. She's got some updated. She's got some updated software. Yeah.
Yes. She is woman 3.0.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So I think we got on that by saying you don't eat where you don't shit where you eat, which was just meant to kind of make me not a radical environmentalist, but just somebody who just fucking cares about where we live. I don't think it should be dividing us. This whole idea of, caring about pollution and plastic and stuff, it should not be something that divides us left and right and all that kind of stuff. But for some reason, anything we're at a point in polarity where or polarization where no matter if you're on the left and I'm on the right, if you say anything I have to disagree with. You could say I'm good looking and I'd have to say no, that's not true because I'm on the other side of the fence. You could say, you could say your wife is a nice lady and I'd have to argue no, she's a cunt.
I think people kind of forgot how to compartmentalize, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're lumping everything too much together and not assessing situations individually for what they are. You know what I mean?
It's sad that we and it will kill us. It will be the death of us because I know I'm on a fucking soapbox here, but I'm looking around right now. This room is filled with fucking plastic. And it is a very toxic thing. It doesn't go away. Not only does it not biodegrade and all that kind of stuff, it ends up in our food supply. It ends up in our water supply, all that kind of stuff. It ends up in our bloodstream. We have toxicity from plastics that wasn't in the human condition 60, 70 years ago. All right, I'm off the soapbox now. I just, so if you're in the green space, so you're selling, if your name is Green Space, if you come to greenspaceli.com, try to figure out a better way to package it. I don't know a better way. There's got to be a better way than this shit, though.
Well, when we were younger, and when I was younger, I used to go to the supermarket and they had barrels where you get pickles. There are a lot of things you get in bulk through a barrel. So you can get your pickles in the barrel, your pig's feet in the barrel, or whatever it is, your dog food, you get scoop it. So you just put your weed in a barrel and just scoop it up, take it home with you, whatever. I don't know if you saw my message, Matt. I said I had to cut out at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, sure.
Because I have a hair appointment with this gentleman here, James, styled by Samaj. That's so pretentious. Samaj is just James backwards.
All right.
But he does a great job with my hair.
All right. Well, good luck with that. And you know what? I appreciate that. And I'm sure he appreciates that you just gave him a plug here. You want to put out his number or the website? I'm going to have my hair done like yours next life.
I actually had a friend of mine. If you associate with someone for a very long, for example, if you were to mention me in a conversation, would you refer to me as a comedian I know or as my friend Glenn?
Well, friend Glenn. I basically say that. I mean, I could know you 10 minutes and I would call you my friend Glenn. Okay.
Well, in that case, I can say this. My friend Dylan Brody, the comedian out in West Coast, he and I were talking we talked to maybe 3 a.m. my time, midnight his time or something. But at the end of the conversation, he goes, GD, do you know anybody on the West Coast that does hair? Because I have a show coming up. I want my hair done like yours. Now, he has long hair, but I'm going to reach out to see if I have any contacts out there that can get his hair done like mine.
I know Dylan pretty, I call him a friend as well. He can talk. So I could imagine that conversation probably started at 9 p.m., but it was still going at 3.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. It started at 9.
Yeah.
Promptly at 9.
He's a great guy and very funny. Also very interesting character. But I appreciate you being here, and I'll let you go. Thanks for being part of the program this morning.
All right, man.
Good luck with the hair. Don't come back looking like me. GD Fenderson, folks. GDSofunny.com. So you want to do the news now, and then we'll talk about it?
Sure.
Hold on. Hold on. Let me just change a couple of things here. I have a new intro for you for the news. So
ooh, fabulous.
And when it comes back, just you will be on the screen and not me.
All right. Thank you. From Music Mayhem, crossover phenom Jelly Roll joins the ranks of some pretty prestigious company. The longtime rapper turned country star just got 5 CMA nods as a debut artist, something only 5 country artists before him have done, including Garth Brooks, Willie Nelson, and the Man in Black, Johnny Cash. A Grass Valley, California woman was arrested on Tuesday on misdemeanor charges of having a hellified amount of weed. Fresno County Sheriff's Office discovered over 1,200 pounds of marijuana during a traffic stop. The woman was issued a citation with an order to appear in court. Narcotics officers destroyed the marijuana. They're expected to be high until 2024.
All right.
SF Gate also reports that the one casualty at Burning Man Festival was 32-year-old Leon Reese. Reese was found unresponsive on the playa during the festival. Officials feel that drug intoxication will end up being the cause. I kind of feel like this is what like Bill Murray was the medical examiner. Like, well, I gotta say. Probably drugs. Probably drugs. All right. Detroit Lions. In NFL news, the Detroit Lions upset the defending Super Bowl champs in the official season opener. Last night, the Kansas City Chiefs led coming out of half, but a 50-yard pick six from Detroit's Brian Branch tied it at 14. Harris Butker hit a pair of field goals to raise Kansas City to 20, but David Montgomery's 8-yard touchdown run and Patterson extra point put Detroit on top and gave them the 21-20 victory. So Kansas City upset in the season opener last night, and that's the news.
I'm pretty upset myself. Let me play the outro. I love it. It makes it feel like we're actually a real program here.
Sure. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Where we start here? First of all, the country shit, the Jelly Roll stuff and the country shit. I am old enough to remember John Denver. He had "Take Me Home, Country Roads," and that was #1 for the Country Music Awards, Song of the Year, and all that stuff. Charlie Pride was so fucking drunk and angry about it. He got up and cursed them all out. They had, he got in a lot of trouble for it because it was a network broadcast. I don't think they caught all the cursing in time, but he was not happy about it. Ostracized. They hated the fact that a folk musician was getting a country award. That seems to have gone away. Jelly Roll's kind of accepted so they're not purists anymore. Country people.
I mean, some of them are like Travis Tritt was definitely like when he first because he won some CMT awards and when he got nominated for those, Travis Tritt really kind of said some stuff, but which is really stupid because like Travis Tritt is probably one of the country artists you could say is responsible for more hip hop style in country anyway, because when you look at songs like Trouble that he released back in the 90s, like that's a super fast song. Like that's a lot like John Michael Montgomery's Sold or Be My Baby Tonight. Right. Like those are all very, like those words per minute are incredible in each of those songs.
Travis Tritt is the poster child for Remember a Few Centuries Ago. He's like, what have you done? He's not a country artist anymore. He's a retired country artist. He lives in a town called Irrelevanceville. I mean... So that's why he's piping off about everything.
Sure, yeah, because it puts him in the limelight to be mentioning somebody who's on top for sure. I would definitely agree that that's more so the motivation
Your name is
because I
Trit.
mean,
Go away. Come back when you change your name to something cooler than Trit.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
But yeah, no, it does seem like by and large, country music does seem to be like really embracing Jelly Roll and really lifting them up, which is great. But I think that it's mainly because they see how the fans respond to him.
right.
You know what I mean? Like people like his music touches people and people care about him, people care about what he's doing.
He just
You
gave a
know what I mean?
shitload of money to people of Maui yesterday or the day before. So, he's a guy who it seems to be his heart is in the right place. He's not all about the money and all the stuff. He's made enough already that he's doing fine. And, when
Yeah.
people need help, he's willing to help. Good guy. I like
Yeah,
that.
he gives back in a lot of ways for sure.
Yeah. Now, 1,200 pounds of weed suggests that she's not going to the dispensary.
Right.
And
Yeah, and that's why she was cited is because it was for it's not legal to have your own selling business without you know what I mean? Like you got to be a legitimate seller basically, and that's what she was cited for.
And that was in California, right?
Yes.
So now
in Fresno County.
Because they've been doing this for long enough that I would think they'd have it together, and I think they probably do have it together a lot better than New York does. The problem when it became legal in New York, dispensaries, it was more expensive to do it the right way, and sometimes the weed wasn't as good, so people were still going to their guy. But I would think California would have gotten it sorted out by now. Their wellness counselor, I should say, their health and wellness counselor they're going to. I call him my guy. But
yeah.
I don't the difference between incentivizing people to go back to the black market and making the legal weed pay for the intent and purpose is about making it legal anyway was to use that tax money for infrastructure and all that kind of stuff that would improve our lives other than that because people are smoking it anyway. I'm all for that. I think if it's going to be legal, it should be taxed and people should be incentivized to do it the legal way, but it has to be affordable, more affordable than doing the criminal thing. This is my same argument with illegal immigration and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
You make it so fucking hard to fucking do it the right way. People want to do it the right way. You make it too hard, they're gonna go the criminal way. That's the
right.
But 1,200 pounds, man. So she had to be dealing. She had to be dealing.
Well, but I will say this: based on the pictures, they should have put that woman in prison anyway because it was some garbage ass weed. It was like that's why the county sheriffs destroyed it because like nobody should be made to smoke this. This is bullshit. Well, looked really bunk.
And you have to eat her ass before you can smoke any of it.
Right. But you don't got to pay for it. You just got to eat her ass.
GreenSpaceLI.com. You can get mushrooms, by the way. I've never heard of that in New York State before, but even on GreenSpaceLI.com, you can get mushrooms. Order them online, which is
you can get shrooms here. That place that I used to go to, the hall in Albuquerque all the time. They have vendors there that have shrooms. And like all sorts, you can get like the microdosing capsules. You can get, dude, it's bananas now. Like I don't even know the world I live in anymore. Sometimes, Matt, like, because I think about a kid growing up in the 90s. You know what I mean? When I was a kid growing up in the 90s, if you told me that I would go into a business, a legitimate business, and be able to smoke weed in there, buy weed products in there, and get mushrooms in there and do mushrooms in there, and then perform a comedy set after all of that, I'd have been like, nah, there's no way that's ever going to be a thing that happens.
No,
it does. It does.
Again, you're talking to the curmudgeonly old man that young people ruin everything. This was like when my 15-year-old, because I said this when the COVID happened and we were locked down. I said, my 15-year-old self, if I could go back in time and tell my 15-year-old self this, he'd be like, get the fuck out of here, old man.
Right.
I'm sitting at home waiting for somebody to deliver me a big bag of weed, and the government's paying for it.
Right.
Like that would be enough to get me to jerk off at 15. Like, oh, I can't wait.
Back then, yeah, you'd be like, "Are you serious?" Yeah, like I'm gonna come harder than I've ever came before. Yeah, no, for real.
So yeah, now football. Where did the Detroit Lions 52-point underdogs in that game?
Yeah, dude, I was like, but I will say this: Travis Kelce was injured, so the Kansas City Chiefs were down a pretty key player, but it certainly didn't come down to that. I mean, the pick six definitely was, I mean, in my opinion, there's no way that you can't say that that's not what really decided the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So coming back though, full circle to me being a fucking selling asshole today. We wanna make it so that we can pay for Willie to do the news every day because you're fucking loving it. I know you're fucking loving it. And so the best way to do that, if you're a gambling person, on the minddogtv.com right now, we have two offers. BetAnySport.eu, there's a link there, or MyBookie.com. Use either one of them and bet your ass off this weekend so we can pay Willie to come back and keep doing the news. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. If you want me to do any reads for any of those, I'll certainly do that. Just let me know what you want. I would love to do an ad read for any of those.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't really... the butt plug thing, I had formal copy. I haven't done that in a while, but
I would definitely, I would love to do that.
While I was on the plastic toxicity stuff, I thought it was important to remember that one of our sponsors, listen, most people don't know this, that there are bans on children's toys for toxicity and chemicals they can put in children's toys because they put them in their mouth, and in some things they don't even put in their mouth, they're just touching them, but they make sure there are laws protecting children from having toys that have toxic chemicals in them. No regulations as far as butt plugs and dildos and things you put in your body if you're an adult, but EnticeMe.com is dedicated to only bringing you non-toxic butt plugs, dildos, ball gags, and the like. I've never tried the product. I'm never going to try their product. I love Tiffany, who runs the company. She's been on the program. But as we mentioned, I have ass problems, and just conceptual problems about the ass. I think it deserves an exit-only sign. I think it should be left out of the equation and off the menu.
Well, my wife and I would be happy to product test anything they wanted.
Well, no. Well, maybe. But one of the things she offers was as a service, not just a product. She will come to your house and watch you have sex and coach you through how to do it right.
You mean what you really mean is that she's going to take some notes and then take those notes and coach some other people, because I got some razzle dazzle, my friend.
Yeah, but it's like anything. Like, listen, even the I don't even know who, Otani, is that his name? The best player in baseball right now. Even he has coaches who can help him improve his game. So
yes, true.
Yeah, and so don't be thinking you can do it. Even again, just because you might, in your mind, be winning the Triple Crown, doesn't mean you still can't up your game a little bit. And Tiffany will.
No, that's true. That is 100%. You can always get better. Always get better. I will say this though. When wife number 2 and I got divorced, like while we were separated, it was like during the process of the divorce or whatever. And I think we had been together a couple, like 18 months or so at that point. But she we ended up hooking up or whatever, and I pulled out a trick that she hadn't seen yet, right? And so I did this thing.
Card trick?
Yeah. It was the card trick. But so I do this, and like, bro, the look on her face changed immediately. Like her eyebrows raised a little bit, and she just like, whoa. She's like, where did you learn that? I'm like, I didn't. I've known this a long time. She's like, and you're just now pulling. I'm like, I didn't. You know what I mean? I'm like, I didn't think I needed to pull it up.
Episode on Seinfeld. Remember the Move episode, and Costanza had to write it down on his hand.
Yeah. And he got sweaty or something, right? Isn't that what happened? Oh yeah, I love Seinfeld. That's one of my favorite shows of all time.
Kelly says, "I'll buy one for your wife, and you can review it for you." Now, here's the thing: maybe we should have an unboxing video and demonstration video, and we could put it on Amazon Prime and get some affiliate cash happening that way as a influencer and demonstrator of a product.
Yeah, you know, my wife actually has a pretty good TikTok following. She was talking about doing some kind of unboxing video the other day.
Yeah, well, for non-toxic dildos and butt plugs and ball gags, and I don't know. Is it called a ball gag? It's a ball that you it's just a gag, right?
Yeah, and then, yeah. I don't need those though. Listen, so that's for like, okay, so I don't know if you know this about me, but I kind of like to be whipped. So ball gags are usually used in situations where you're like, you know, whipping the other so that they don't scream out or whatever. But I just focus and don't scream. I think we talked about it because when I was in Sturgis, I got whipped by the waitress in Sturgis. And I didn't like, she gave me 5 lashes and I gave her 0 response. And like, that's why yesterday when you were talking about pain and how, you know, it's our body telling us that, I'm like, dude, I shut that off all the time. like,
wow.
Pain is a state of mind. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter.
Oh, all right. No, I don't partake in whipping either. But hey, listen, you're gonna eat ass, you might as well get whipped for it.
That's, you know what I'm saying. You know, you might as well go the whole 9. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Inches. Anyway.
You don't
so
talk ass eating before breakfast generally.
This is some great morning conversation.
Yeah. So yesterday I had mentioned to you what Don Imus was a big influence on me, and I said I wanted to find some stuff for him from his the prime part of his career, so I could share that with you. And I went and I was looking through it. Now, Imus got in a lot of trouble for being called a racist because he called a woman. I think it was Seton Hall University, nappy women's basketball.
Yeah, her nappy hair or something like that.
Nappy-headed hose, and he called them jigaboos.
Wow. Okay, that's a super bad one, though.
Right, that is a very bad one. But I think that came from Bernard McGirt, who was his producer, who was definitely far more racist. But then I look back at, because I was looking from Imus from the 70s and 80s. He was the prime guy pushing for Jesse Jackson for president. And then that doesn't necessarily mean he wasn't racist. But, I mean, it's hard to be a racist and be a guy early on pushing for a black president and all. So I never bought into the fact that he was racist. But he made some stupid mistakes. But I think Bernie was a bad influence on that. Bernard McGirt, the late Bernard McGirt, for as funny as he was a racist fucking guy. I mean, there's no two ways about it. And but he added so much to the program, and I think it's like anything. You get in a room full of guys who are just joking, and you get carried away. Locker room talk, that kind of stuff. It is.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I guess, you know, when I was younger, like I think that for myself, there was a lot I didn't understand because for me, there was so much and even now I still have a hard time understanding racism because I grew up around all white people. You know what I mean? Like I did not physically encounter a person that wasn't white until I was 12 years old. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so like race issues have always been a little bit confusing to me or whatever. But I think that when I was younger, like I kind of went along and didn't mind those sessions of, locker room talk or whatever. Um, but like as I've gotten older and as my understanding has grown, like I don't participate in that kind of stuff anymore. Like I'll just walk away. Like and even if I'm at a job, if, I've had warehouse jobs or whatever. If jokes start getting to that kind of, I'll just walk away because me personally, and but I'm also not one to run around telling everybody how to talk. I don't enjoy that stuff, so I don't participate in it. When I start hearing it, and I won't even say anything because to me, it like if I do say anything at all, it'd be like, oh well, like if this is what's up, then I'm gonna go, and I'll just go. You know what I mean? And because I probably do have a tendency to do that because I do like I don't want to make a fuss about it, but I also want to let people know that I don't think this is okay. So I'm just gonna go step over here. I don't want to hear this shit.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, but the kind of finding now this is changing gears, but switching gears, but not really on the Amish stuff. I went and I found some stuff from the '70s. Listened to it. It's kind of like my nostalgia and my memory of the influence that he had on me and the show had on me. Amos in the Morning show had on me is over exaggerated in my mind. It's like going back to your junior high school and saying, "Holy shit, this thing is fucking small."
Right.
I'm listening and like loads of commercials, loads of bullshit, traffic and weather every couple of minutes and that kind of stuff. So in between the jokes, like you could listen to an hour show and maybe get 3 really funny bits in an hour, and most of it was traffic and weather or commercials that are really irrelevant and all that kind of stuff. It was a little disappointing. I'm not able to find the stuff that in the back of my mind was the funniest stuff that
Right.
radio ever produced in my mind. And I had Rob Bartlett, who was on that program, on this show, and he was one of the funniest parts of that show. Charles McCord, which is why I wanted to present it to you, was a news guy, but basically Charles was he came from the really serious. He was a serious newsman, and then when he hooked up it with Imus by accident in the morning, he would just happen to be there. Imus was still drunk, and he would comment on the news stuff, and like that would go on. So a news read would be a half an hour long. It was supposed to be a 3-minute, 4-minute segment going into the hour. Charles would come on and read the news. Everything he would do, Imus would either giggle at or make a comment on, and then they'd get in an argument. And I was like, that's what I want to do. That's where, basically the guy trying to read the news seriously, and the host just like, what the fuck? That guy's a fucking spineless. And everybody, he's going off on Michael Dukakis.
Yeah, if you don't want me to blow through it so fast, if you want me to kind of slow down and let you react to it, I can do that.
I think what you're doing is fine, and right now I'm reacting just by laughing and stuff.
Right.
If there's something that I feel like I should stop you on and say, "Oh, we need to talk about this right now," I will. But I don't think so far we haven't hit that point. I'm making kind of mental notes of, "Oh, we got to talk about the weed lady because I'm 1,200 pounds of weed," all that kind of stuff, and the John Denver thing with the country stuff, and,
right? And also, if you do end up deciding that you want the links to the stories, because every story I do is, because I scour the internet and I find stories that interest me, and then I read those stories in my way. But I do like to at least somewhat cite where I got the story from. So, but if I think it would be beneficial to the listening audience if they wanted to. I think it would be cool if we had links to the stories that I actually get my news from.
Yeah, the problem is YouTube is taking that away from us. I think I got like 2 more weeks before they actually take the ability to put links in the descriptions that actually work. But we could always put them in the banner stuff. But so they redesigned the YouTube thing where now my channel will have relevant links to every place that I would want to send them website stuff. But within the description of the stuff, the links won't work anymore starting, I don't know, mid-October or something like that.
Really?
Or mid-September, actually. Yeah.
That's stupid. One of the things about Facebook that makes me so mad is, so I share my Star Maker lives when I go live on Star Maker. Nobody sees those. Nobody sees them in real time. Like
Right.
they might see them 3 days later or whatever, because I'm sharing a link that takes you away from Facebook. So Facebook's just not going to put it in the fucking algorithm. And so I'm trying to promote my fucking live, but
Can you download it and then re-upload it to Facebook? Download it from Star Maker to your phone or computer or whatever, and then go to Facebook and upload it there.
what do you mean?
You do the video on Star Maker, and once it's done, you can download it. And then now you have the video on your machine, and then go over to Facebook and upload it to Facebook. Now
So I
it's not
can't,
taking them away from Facebook.
not with my lives. Like I could do covers. Like I can make a cover on Star Maker, and I can put it on my YouTube. That's I think the only platform that I can actually transfer a video to, and even then the video quality is,
I know,
it's always not that great.
right.
Like but yeah, I can put it on my YouTube channel from Star Maker, and I do have some of my covers on my YouTube. Some of my covers that I made on Star Maker are on my YouTube channel.
Did you do a boy named Sue?
During my live yesterday, yeah, I did. And you know what? I was thinking about I'll probably just do a video. If you want, I can make a video and upload it to my YouTube.
Some people on Twitter asked me to do it yesterday because I mentioned that, out of all of Johnny Cash songs, nobody ever requests that one. That's one that and then
I love that song.
People say, I'm requesting it now. I got a couple of places people were saying, I'd love to hear that now. Like, oh, really? You'd love to hear it? I was just being fucking stupid because I was bringing up what kind of bullshit it would cause among the political pundits, Boy Named Sue, in today's atmosphere where everything is drag queens are going to ruin society.
Right.
Transgenderism is the devil. No.
Well, and really, if you had a song called "The Boy Named Sue" today, it would probably be about a transgender.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
or even just a message of that song where his father gave him that name because it was going to make him tough and learn how to fight. Because we're so conflicted about what's the role of a man, what were we supposed to be? How gender roles and how they're defined, and it's all
right.
fucking crazy. Like, mind your own business. That's what I like. Let people live their own lives however the fuck they want to live it, and mind your own business. How about that? Can you do that?
Yeah.
Well, that's my friend. I started off on like a whirlwind on this plastic shit because I am really, on phones, everything. It's fucking everywhere. And it's driving me nuts. And especially when a kid wants to fucking argue with me. They're lying to you. Everybody's lying to you about all this stuff. And now I mentioned the flat earth people are back on me, attacking me in
right. Yeah. What's up with that?
Every once in a while, somebody shares a video. I think it's the Zach and Zin one that where I wasn't present, and they debated with Dave.
Flat Earth Dave?
Yeah.
Was Zin on that show too?
Yeah, Zin.
I thought it was just Zach.
No, Zach. It was supposed to be just Zach. Zin invited himself in. This is the fucking stuff that drives me crazy about Mike Zin, which is why he wanted to. The conversation was going to be about flat Earth, and Zin takes Flat Earth Dave, who doesn't know fucking shit about anything other than flat Earth. That's all his life is. It revolves around.
Right. Does it revolve though if it's flat?
Well, that's what I mean. But
sorry.
he wants to talk about spiritual. What do you believe about God and spirit and consciousness and all? Like, Stop fucking making it about your agenda. This show is about Zach wanting to talk about flat Earth with a flat earther, and you fucking imposing your fucking agenda on it. And that's what the kind of stuff that drives me crazy about him. It's like everything's got to come back to, let's talk about what I want to talk about. Anyway, flips.
I'm probably bad at that too, I bet.
It flips because it's flat.
Like a coin.
Yeah. All right. Whatever. So they're back on me, but also now the climate change guys are the climate change is a hoax, guys. And it's just so fucking stupid. Listen, you don't have to.
None of it's going to matter when the nukes go off.
Well, it could. Yeah, I speaking of weed dealers, back in the 70s, I had a weed dealer friend who was a pretty smart guy, and he said, "Listen, human beings have the ability to adapt. Well, if we've proven anything over the last several million years, is that no matter what happens on Earth, we adapt to it. Ice ages, meteorites, asteroids, all of it, dinosaurs, everything." We find a way to adapt. And he said, after a nuclear war, we might not be the same, but we'll find a way to adapt to it and evolve and grow and still prosper because human beings survive anything. Now, eventually, the planet will no longer be about that. But.
And we'll probably grow and adapt into a more grayish being with bigger heads and bigger eyes.
Oh, you're back on the time. No. Well, that could happen. Might happen.
I'm pretty sure that's what's gonna happen, bro.
Well, again,
because so this is one of the things about all the UFO stuff that I found really interesting as this should be the biggest takeaway for anything about UFOs or UAFs or whatever the fuck they want to call them, UAPs, right? When these guys were asked if these non-human beings were, if we should consider them threats, right?
Right.
They said, no, I don't think they mean us harm. Well, how can we know that? Well, the answer to that question, basically, if they wanted to undo us, they could do it in an instant. And if that was their mind, they'd have done it already. That's the scariest shit you can tell me about these beings.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Maybe not.
Like, so, but it would make sense that if there are, if they're the byproduct of nuclear fallout and stuff like that, well, of course they don't want to end us. They are us.
Wait a minute. Yeah, that would make sense. But also, I'm going to poke a hole in your basic premise there. That if they could do away with us, they would. Now, I'm sure. I'm absolutely positive this because I lived it in New Mexico. If you walk out into a cattle ranch to go pet a cow, it probably thinks, well, he doesn't mean me any harm. If he wanted to kill me, he could kill me. And so you're out there and all these cows have the same idea. The farmer is a nice guy until he says, okay, go this way and get in the truck.
Yeah.
So they could be could just be waiting for
the time's not right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, that's all of that. And but
yeah, I don't find that to be comforting. Yeah, they say it like it's some comforting thing. I don't find that fucking comforting at all, bro.
Yeah,
because that means they can decide that shit any motherfucking time.
I'm of the Tommy Chong. Listen, Tommy's a stoner and all that kind of stuff, but he does have a lot of wisdom. His take on it, and I agree with him wholeheartedly. If you look at what we're doing, if there's life on Mars, and I don't think there's life on Mars, but what it would say is these are alien visitations here. It's drones. We're sending drones to other planets. We're not sending people. And I think if there were an intelligent being out there or whatever, intelligent beings sending stuff here, They're not going to be sending them. They'll be sending drones. They'll be sending machines. Why risk people or your brother, your sister, or whatever? I don't know what they are. I don't only call them people. But why
Speaking of drone, my wife's been seeing something. The same thing, like the same thing that you described for the lights or whatever. She didn't say any. Like I couldn't get her to describe the shape to me, but she said her and her coworkers all saw a UFO or UAF or whatever you want to call it now, or UAP, whatever.
What the WTF? What the fuck? That's
Yeah,
what the fuck?
But but when she described it to me, she described a light structure on the bottom very much like what you described seeing.
Yeah.
Like without, and she hasn't heard what you said. So when she was using like the exact same description, I'm like, fuck, this is the same fucking shit Matt's saying. God damn,
I think though what I saw was a drone too. I mean, because it seemed to be flat. I mean, or not necessarily like paper thin flat, but it was too flat to have, from what I could tell, to have a person in it. And I do think it was military related. But so I think it's drones. I think we're seeing a lot of drones or experimental aircraft and that kind of stuff. Experimenting with drones. I did see one the other night. After that, it was Wednesday night. I was out again smoking a joint, sitting in my lawn chair. But this was not that. This was the size of a small one-seater plane, but it stopped over the trees where I was. It was pretty high up. But I'm thinking this is a fucking drone, but not a drone like I could go out and buy. This is a drone that like FedEx was experimenting with for deliveries and stuff like that. It was as big as a Volkswagen, but it did something a plane can't do, which is stop in midair. And helicopters can do that and hover, but this thing was just too stationary and it wasn't no supersonic movement at all. When it was moving kind of slow, and then it just stopped. So whatever. I don't think. I'm not a ufologist now. Ian says I'm a ufologist now. I'm not. I've been with the UFO thing for 45 years. My first guest on my old radio show was George Dixon from the MUFON Network, and we had lots of crashes on Long Island at that time. There was a Santa Mauritius crash, and he said people at the Montauk base had craft then, residue of a crash, that kind of stuff. So I've been on the UFO stuff like that, but I've never been one to think that it's alien beings. I just don't think that. I think it's always been the United States military, which is why I think Congress is so willing to have these talks now, making it seem like aliens are visiting, because they'd rather us not spill the beans about what our what our military capability is and what exactly we're doing, and not let us know about that kind of stuff. Anyway, I could be wrong about all that fucking shit. Who knows? Who knows? That's what I'm saying.
Right. And the people that do know, like, the biggest problem about all of this is that, like, they have literally created a situation where there is no way that we can really know what to believe
about anything.
Right.
Whether like Kennedy assassination or
none of it.
Vietnam or any of it.
We don't know the motherfucking truth about anything. Like, and for people that want to sit around and say that we don't need things to change, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Listen, I think we're due for some serious upgrades to how we conduct ourselves.
All right. Well, now you're talking about like the what's her name, Patricia Corey, who got me banned. She says we are being upgraded. Anyway, Green Space Long Island, greenspaceLI.com.
I didn't mean upgraded like that.
Yeah. We are being upgraded, though. I mean, just through evolutionary process. But before you're talking
just
about
growing as people.
Yeah, if they wanted to do away with this, I was thinking of the Twilight Zone, To Serve Man. Are you familiar with To Serve Man? Mike, Mike Mike Wallace, 60 Minutes. Mike Wallace was on Rod Serling's original Twilight Zone as an alien, and they had brought back with them a book called To Serve Man, and everybody thought, "Wow, that's nice. These aliens are here; they're gonna serve us." But it was a cookbook, To Serve Man. So,
That's great.
That's what made me kind of think about the cows and the herding of all that stuff. Yeah, they might not be doing away with us now. They're waiting till it's time to serve dinner. Oh yeah,
yeah.
Right. We could be just Soylent Green is people, and ass eating is also people. So wrap this all up to bring it back to one big circle. Maybe we are our own aliens eating humans from the ass out or from the ass in. Maybe I'm an alien and don't know it. Well, no, I'm not an ass eater, but maybe you, Mr. Ass Eater.
I have a projection of what that sounds like.
Yeah. You know what? I think my mustache. I'm going to end this show with. I think my mustache is on crooked. I think I gotta fix it. Let me see. Hold on a second. Let me get a bigger view of me here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's definitely crooked. You see, this side it needs to become I'm fucked. I didn't notice my mustache was on crooked. I got to take the whole thing off and retape it on. Fuck.
Hey, what do you think happened to me, dude? I got way less facial hair than the other day.
Yeah, but your facial hair smells like my balls for some reason. I don't know. I don't even want to conjecture. No, it smells like
I thought it would smell like my wife's ass.
I was going to say it probably smells like your wife's ass. Well, it's time to get lunch, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I'm hungry now.
Yeah, I know you are. All right. Well, thanks for being here today. The news was always stimulating and thought-provoking and a little bit scary. I mean, so bottom line, and I know you're not a prognosticator. Detroit Lions, are they gonna continue to surprise people and actually make a run for it, or was this just one anomaly? And they're going
to be the third best team in the NFC North.
Third best. 3? There's only 3 in that.
No, there's 4. But the Packers, I imagine the Packers will actually do worse than the Lions in the NFC North this year. The NFC North, I'm a Bears fan, so that's my division. So I know a lot of that's. But the Lions will finish third in the NFC North. It'll be the Bears, the Vikings, the Lions, and the Packers.
Well,
that's
once
how
again,
that is my prediction on how it will end up in the NFC North at the end of the season.
You know what? Maybe we should try on Fridays do picks of the week so people can go to mybookie.com or betanysport.eu.
I will totally do picks. We can keep track of picks if we want. I would do picks. I would love to do that.
Let's start picks next week. And what? I got to start learning, following NFL again and do some picks on that as well. Not that mine are going to have any meaning, but it's a fun thing to do, and maybe people will bet their house because of our bad advice, lose their house, become homeless.
Well,
and then
for months I've been telling people to put just listen. I know this is going to sound dumb, okay, but it's $10. Okay, put a $10 bet on the Chicago Bears to win the Super Bowl, and the reason I say that is because the payout on that is like 6,000 to 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's a $10 bet, and you can win 70 fucking grand if they do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like that's crazy.
Let's all do it. But no, if we all do it, that will change the odds.
Yeah, that'll change it. Yeah, that'll change it.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm not to promote gambling here because gambling, anybody who should know, I should know, gambling can fucking ruin lives. Can really be a terrible thing.
And that's why I do I say, put $10 on something like that.
Right.
I'm not big on the gambling side either. I like to do very low control, like I just throw a line out there every once in a while, and if it catches, it catches. If not, I've probably been blessed that I've never won anything big. You know what I mean? Like, so whenever I go to a casino or do anything like that, I always, I'm just looking for my free play, playing a little small ball. I might play $20 or something like that. Like, if my wife and I go together to the casino, like, we already have an allotment of a pretty small amount that we're willing to lose.
Right.
And anything beyond that, like, and when I win, I'm a weird person. When I win, I put the money that I put in away immediately. I immediately put that in a different pocket and only play with my winnings the rest of the time.
A different pocket. I thought you were going to say I would wire it to my bank or something like that.
Oh, well, I mean, who does that kind of crazy shit? I mean, if you can't have any self-control, don't go to a casino. Call a number.
When I was 11 years old, my parents took me to California. I was babysitting for my cousin who was 1 year old. Now I'm 11. I'm watching my cousin as my father, my mother, and my aunt and uncle go to Vegas and leave me in LA watching my cousin who was 10 years younger than me. And they went to LA. Now we met up with my father's gambling partner at the time, who was a woman, this woman, Janet. She was, this 1969, 1970. And she was up, they called me, they were going to be spending an extra day in Vegas. She was up $160,000, $1970, $160,000. She left there losing like $7,000 or something like that.
Wow, that's bananas.
Yeah,
never in a million years would I let that happen to myself.
Right. Yeah. So that's typical. People, when they get up, they just don't know when to fucking walk away and say, "Okay, this is enough."
Yeah.
But
I get up $80 and I'm practically running out of the casino.
Right. But the argument,
we gotta go now.
Can be made that what if she would have stopped at 100 when she was up $110,000 or $100,000, she would have walked away. She wouldn't have got that extra 60. So that's that thing where you could always win more, but you could always lose it all. So.
Yeah, and I've done that. So, I played quite a bit of Texas Hold'em back in the day. And this is a long time ago. This is back before I went to prison. I was gambling at the Argosy Casino, which was a riverboat casino in Sioux City, Iowa back in the day. It's closed down. But I was playing Texas Hold'em there, and this is where I learned the rule there. I don't know if you know this, but there's a kind of an unwritten rule in Texas Hold'em that you're don't play the hand before you cash out. Like if you're of the mind to cash out, like, don't play another hand. You know what I mean? And the reason that is you generally will find yourself losing a significant amount of money on an exiting hand. Right. Like, I don't know, like I'm sure there's a reason that they've created this unwritten rule, but boy, I found out the hard way, because I was probably sitting at like somewhere around $770 worth of chips, and I was like, well, I think if I get up to 800, I'll just cash out. Let's play one more hand, right? And I end up getting involved into a hand, and it was like, to be fair, I don't really remember the basics of it, but as the hand developed, I ended up being all in with the only other person at the table that could cover me.
Wow.
And lost everything. Like $770 in a hand, and I just bought into that game for $100 or whatever. Like, right. The fact that I didn't cash that out, like, that one instance cemented in me that I was like, I'll never do that again.
Yeah.
I'm like, never again. Well, if I think to myself, I want to cash out, I'm leaving the fucking table.
So let me just tell you, there was a philosopher. It was from way back in time. Kenneth Rogers, I believe is his name. He said, "You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away,
God damn it,
and know when to run."
You never count your money when you're sitting at the table.
Right.
He said that.
You read his way.
God.
Yeah.
God.
You know what? I probably will do that this Sunday. I won't do A Boy Named Sue, but I will do The Gambler.
I love that song. That's another song I know word for word, 100%.
Wow. Yeah, I actually know that one pretty well.
I mean, I don't know if you know this, but my first nickname in prison, actual prison, was radio, because I would just, bro, I was like a fucking radio. I would just sing out in the cell hall.
So wait a minute.
Because we didn't have TVs or radios or nothing like that, so I would just sing.
So I'm just reading your sheet here. It says, AKA Tug Job Willie. When did that Tug Job Willie, not Tugboat, because there were, I think Mickey Mouse's first real name was Tugboat Willie, but I call him Tug Job Willie.
Oh my God,
Mickey Mouse. Anyway, that's a show for today. What do you think? That was a good show. That wasn't a good show. That was a terrible show.
It was a great show. What are you talking about? It's always a great time with you, Matt.
Your segment was good. I got a little emotional about the plastic stuff. GD was good. It's always good.
I was great. You were crap.
All right. Well, thanks. I got gigs tonight. I'm in Gocha Dioro 2 tonight, back there, and hopefully it will rain. And because if it rains, people will be more likely to go inside. If not, the people are going to be out at the beaches and having fun there. I hope it rains, so all the beaches are closed, so everybody comes to see me at Gocha. And then where am I tomorrow? Tomorrow I'm at Save the Bay. I hope it doesn't rain tomorrow. I'm at Save the Bay. $135 to come see the Rocket 45s, but that money goes towards saving the Bay, the Great South Bay, which is definitely experiencing some stuff about climate change. Last thing on this climate change thing, because they've got fucking people, they know how to fucking push my button to trigger me. My friend Phil, Surfer Phil, who lives in Setauket, Long Island, which is on the Sound, he's born on the South Shore, now a North Shore guy. Every morning he has dolphins in the Long Island Sound, and which is not normal. I was trying to explain this to my wife. Dolphins are warm-blooded. It's too fucking hot in Florida. The water is too hot for them. They're warm-blooded. They like warm water. It's too fucking hot in Florida. They came up to Long Island to live in the Long Island Sound. If that's not an indication that the waters are definitely heating up, I don't know what it takes to get you to believe this. But schools of dolphins every morning, especially late summer, is really indicative that water is boiling. The water is boiling. But it's in you. Yeah. So, yeah, climate change is real. Whether the debate, if you want to have a debate about it, is can we do anything to stop it? Does it matter if we try? And all those kind of things are up for debate. Does what is our contribution to it, and how can we stop it? But to deny it's happening, you need a slap in the face on that kind of thing. But I've been getting a lot of hate mail and comments on YouTube about, it's a hoax, man. It's a fucking hoax. It's not a hoax. They want you to believe it's a hoax. So the corporations who want to keep you addicted to fossil fuels and all that kind of stuff. All right, time to leave. Let me get some more hate mail happening, and I guess we'll see you Monday, right?
Yeah. Have a great weekend, Matt.
All right, you too. Enjoy your weekend. Bye for now. The great William Conway, also known as Willie Cronkite, also known as Tug Job Willie or Horatio. I don't know. He's got a lot of aliases. Tug Job Willie is my favorite though. I'm gonna go have an ass sandwich for lunch, and I hope you do the same. It is Issues with Andy's Day. I hope you enjoy. I almost reached out to Andy to come on the show today because he's got a couple of big gigs next week. I'm sure he wants to promote, although we have a very small listenership in Bisbee, Arizona, and Tucson, Arizona, where those gigs are going to be. But September 14th and 15th, 14th is in Tucson, Arizona at Buttloads? No. I forget the name. Something with a B. It's a club that Christine does her show at every week. Well, now it's Billy Wayne Davis, Christine Levine, and Andy Andrus, hosted by the one and only Doug Stanhope, and at the Shady Dell on September 15th by the hosted also by the one and ugly Doug Stanhope. I'm not going to say anymore. I stopped myself there. Did you see how I stopped myself there? I wanted to say something and I didn't. You'll find out next week when it happens. And then you'll say, Dog, why didn't you say something? Well, because I'm not allowed to, but I would. And I am kind of in a very indirect way. I wonder how Carl's doing today. Anyway, bye for now. That was a great show. Don't forget to turn on your radio. It wasn't really a great show, but don't forget to turn on your radio anyway. See me at Gosha tonight. Bye for now.
I me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now.